Part 1 of Poems and Songs in the Lancashire Dialect by Edwin WAUGH. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Come whoam to thy childer and me. I've just mended th' fire wi' a cob. Owd Swaddle has brought thee new shoon. There's some nice bacon collops o' thob, and a quart o' ale posset i'th oon. I've brought thee top quart, dost to know, for the rain's comin' down very dree, and th' hearthstone's as white as new snow. Come whoam to thee childer and me. When I put little Sally to bed, hoo cried 'cause her feyther weren't there. So I kissed th' little thing and I said tha'd bring her a ribbon fro th' fair, and I gav her a doll, and some rags, and a nice little white cotton bow, and I kissed her again, but hoo said that hoo wanted to kiss thee and I. And Dick too, I'd sich wark wi' him afore I could get him upstairs. Thou told him tha'd bring him a drum, he said, when he sayin' his prayers. Then he looked in my face and he said, "Has the boggart's ta'en owd o' my dad?" And he cried till his een were quite red. He likes thee some weel, does yon lad. At the lung length I geet 'em laid still, and I hearkened folks' feet 'at went by. So I iront all my clothes reet well, and I hanged 'em off maiden to dry. When I'd mended thee stockins and shirts, I sit down to knit in me cheer, and I raly did feel rayther hurt. Mon, I'm only when thou art there. I've a drum and a trumpet for Dick, I've a yard o' blue ribbon for Sal, I've a book o' babs and a stick, and some bacco and pipes for mysel. I've brought thee some coffee and tay, if thou'll feel in me pocket thou'll see, and I've bought thou a new cap to-day, but I always bring summat for thee. God bless thee, my lass, I'll go whoam, and I'll kiss thee and th' childer all round. Thou knows that wherever I roam, I'm fain to get back to th' owd ground. I can do wi' a crack o'er a glass, and can do wi' a bit of a spree, but I've no gradely comfort, my lass, except with yon childer and thee. What ails thee, my son Robin? What ails thee, my son Robin? My heart is sore for thee. Thee cheeks are growing thinner, and th' leet has laughed thee ee. Thou trails about so lonesome, and looks so pale at morn. God bless the lad, I'm sorry to see thee so forlorn. Thy footsteps sadly altered, I used to know it weel. Now art a fairy stricken, or art a gradely ill. Or hast to been with witches, i'th clough at deepeth Neet. Come, tell me, Robin, tell me, for summat is not reet. Eh, mother, dunnot fret ye, I'm not like mysel, but 'tisn't lung o' th' fearing that han to do with dale. There's nought 'at thus could daunt me, i'th clough be neet o' day. It's yon blue een o' Mary's, din ta'en my life away. I doubt I've done wi' comfort to th' day that I mun dee, for th' place who sets her foot on, it's fairy ground to me. But oh, it's no use speaking, I cunnot stun her pride, and when a true heart's breaking, it's very hard to bide. Now, God be with her, Robin, just let her have her way. Who'll never meet thy marrow for mony a summer day. Oh, just the same with thy feyther, when first he spoke to me. So go thee ways and whistle, and th' lass'll come to thee. The Grindlestone. It were Dody o' Joseph's, a joiner by trade, a comical cout, and a keen bitten blade. Here as fause as a boggart, as th' neighbours weel knew, though when he'd a mind, he could look like a foo. Derry down. But th' bravest and breetest o' th' childer o' men may haply be hampered a bit now and then. Dody's axe wanted grinding one wark-a-day morn, when there nobody about to give th' grindle a turn. Derry down. Then he grunted and mumbled, and glendert around, and he tooted about o'er the neighbouring ground. Still never a soul to turn th' stone could he find, and it made him a little bit thrutched in his mind. Derry down. Till a soft-looking urchin come wandering by, wi' his thumb in his mouth and a tear in his eye. wi' his slate an' his satchel, he'er creep into schoo, an', bi the look of his e'es, Dody knowed he'er a foo. Derry down. "Bith maskins," said Dody, "I'm loosent at last," an' he beckoned a th' lad that were wanderin' past. "Come hither, my tight little maister o' men." Then he poo'd out a sixpence and fobbed it again. Derry down. "There's a grindlestone here, dosta think thou can turn? If thou doesn't know how, I can help thee to larn. I connot hold th' axe an' turn th' hondle mysel'. Thou'rt a nice lad o' Sunbury's. Come, give us a twell." Derry down. Th' lad laid howd o' th' hondle, an' shaped like a mon, for he lippent a sixpence when th' turnin' were done. So he twirlt at this grindle o' Dody o' Joe's, till saut water tricklet off th' end of his nose. Derry down. Dody felt at his axe, an' he said, "Thou young foo, thou'lt get a rare twiltin' for stoppin' fro' schoo. Either off like a red shank, or th' door may be teened." An' he gav him a bit of a lifter beheend. Derry down. The lad dried for his forehead the breet briny drip, an' he piked up his books wi' a whimperin' lip, an' he crope off to schoo, turnin' o'er in his mind th' first lesson he'd larnt i' the pranks o' monkind. Derry down. As you're wanderin' through life, tennet one that yo'n find a good lot o' folk that han axes to grind. Give a turn when you con, but remember to th' end, it's turnin' the wrang road to turn on a friend. Derry down. God bless these poor folk. God bless these poor folk that are striving by means that are honest and true, for summat to keep 'em alive in this world that we're scramblin' through. It's the life of a mon's full o' fating, a poor soul that wants to fate fair, should never be grudged of his hating, for th' hardest o' th' battle's his share. It's the life of a mon's full o' fating, a poor soul that wants to fate fair, should never be grudged of his hating, for th' hardest o' th' battle's his share. This world's kin to trouble, i'th best on't there's mony sad changes come round. We wandern about to find rest on't, an' th' worm yammers for us in th' ground. May he that'll watch while he's able be never long hungry nor dry, an' th' childer 'at sit at his table, God bless 'em wi' plenty, say I. It's th' life of a mon's full o' fating, a poor soul that wants to fate fair, should never be grudged of his hating, for th' hardest o' th' battle's his share. An' he that can feel it a pleasure to lighten misfortin an' pain, may his pantry be allus full measure to cut at an' come to again. May God bless his cup an' his cupboard 1,000 for one that he gives, an' his heart be a bumper o' comfort to th' very last minute he lives. It's the life of a mon's full o' fating, a poor soul that wants to fate fair, should never be grudged of his hating, for th' hardest o' th' battle's his share. And he that scorns ale to his victual is welcome to let it alone. There's some can be wise with a little, and some that are foolish wi' noan, and some are so quare i' th' natur that nought wi' their stomachs agree. But he that would leifer drink wayther shall never be stinted by me. It's th' life of a mon's full o' fating, a poor soul that wants to fate fair, should never be grudged of his hating, for th' hardest o' th' battle's his share. One likes to see hearty folk watchin', and weary folk having a rest. One likes to hear poor women singin' to th' little things laid o' their breast. Good cooks are my favourite doctors, good livers my parson shall be, an' ony poor cratur 'at's clemmin' may come have a mouthful wi' me. It's the life of a mon's full o' fating, a poor soul that wants to fate fair, should never be grudged of his hating, for th' hardest o' th' battle's his share. Owd Time is a troublesome codger, keeps nudgin' us on to decay, an' whispers, "You're nobbut a lodger, get ready for goin' away." Then lets our no skulkin' nor snivellin', whatever misfortins before. God bless him that fends for his living, an' howds up his yed through it o'. It's the life of a mon's full o' fating, a poor soul that wants to fate fair, should never be grudged of his hating, for th' hardest o' th' battle's his share. Come, Mary, link the arm i' mine. Come, Mary, link the arm i' mine, an' lilt away wi' me, and dry that little drop o' brine fro' th' corner o' the ee. Th' mornin' dew i' th' heather bells a bonny bit o' wheat, that tear a different story tells, it pains my heart to see't. So Mary, link thy arm i' mine. No lordly o'er th' country sides, so pleasant to my view, as th' little corner where abides my bonny lass and true. But there's a nook beside yon spring, and if thou'll share with me, Aw'll buy thee th' bonniest gowden ring that ever thou did see. So Mary, link thy arm in mine. My feyther's gan were £40, i' silver and i' gowd, an' a pratty bit o' garden ground at th' mornin' side o' th' fowd, an' a hondsome Bible, clen an' new, to read for days to come. There's leaves for writin' names in too, like th' Owd Enoc's a whoam. So Mary, link thy arm i' mine. Our Jenny's bin a buyin' in, an' every day hoo brings knives an' forks an' pots, an' irons for smoothin' caps an' things. My gronny's sent a kist o' drawers, Sunday clothes to keep, an' little Fanny's bought a glass, wheer thee an' me can peep. So Mary, link thy arm i' mine. Our Thomas sent a bacon flitch, our Jem a load o' coals, our Charlie's bought some picters, an' he's hanged 'em up o' th' walls. Owd Posy's whitewashed th' cottage through, our Matty's made it sweet, an' Jack's gan me his Jarman flute to play bi th' fire at Neet. So Mary, link thy arm i' mine. There's cups an' saucers, porritch pons, an' tables, great an' smoo'. There's brushes, mugs, an' ladin' cans, an' 8 days' clock an' o'. There's a cheer for thee, an' one for me, an' one i' every nook. Thi mother's has a cushion on't, it's the nicest cheer i' th' rook. So Mary, link thy arm i' mine. My gronny's gan me th' 4-post bed, wi' curtains to't an' o', an' pillows, sheets, an' bowsters too, as white as driven snow. It isn't stuffed wi' fither down, but th' flocks are clean an' new. Who says there's honest folk i' th' town that's made a worse'n do? So Mary, link thy arm i' mine. Aw peeped into me cot last neet, it made me hutchin' fain. A bonny fire were winkin' breet i' every winder pane. Aw marlocked upo' th' white hearthstone, an' drummed o' th' kettle lid, an' sung, "My neest is snug an' sweet, Aw'll go an' fotch my brid." So Mary, link thy arm i' mine. End of part 1. Part 2 of Poems and Songs in the Lancashire Dialect by Edwin WAUGH. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chirrup. Young Chirrup were a mettled cout, his heart and limbs were true. At foot race, or at rostling bout, or aught he buckled to. At wark or play, reet gallantly, he laid into his game. And he a very fond o' singing brids, that's how he gate his name. He as straight as ony picking rod, and limber as a snig, and th' heartiest cock o' th' village clod, at ony country rig. His shining een were clear and blue, his face were frank and bowd, and th' yure about his monly brew were crisped i' curls o' gowd. Young Chirrup donned his clinket shoon, and started off to th' fair. He swore by th' leet o' th' harvest moon he'd have a marlock there. He pooed a sprig fro' th' hawthorn tree that blossomed by the way. If ony mon says wrang to me, Aw'll tan his hide to-day. Full sadly mony a lass would sigh, as wanderin' slyly near, they tooted at his een to spy if love were lurking theer. So fair and free he stepped the green, and trolling out a song, wi' leetsome heart and twinkling een, went chirruping along. Young Chirrup wooed a village maid, and hoo were th' flower of o', wi' kisses kind i' th' woodland shade, and whispers soft and low. I' Mally's ear 'twere th' sweetest chime that ever mortal sung, and Mally's heart beat merry time to th' music of his tongue. The kindest mates this world within mun sometimes meet wi' pain, but if this pain could life begin, they'd buckle to again. For though we're hearty, blunt and tough, and mally, sweet and mild, for 60 year through smooth and rough, who lad him like a child. The dules i' this bonnet o' mine. The dules i' this bonnet o' mine, my ribbons'll never be reet. Here, Mally, whoam like to be fine, for Jamie'll be comin' to Neet. He met me i'th loan t'other day, who were goin' for waiter to th' well, an' he begged that Aw'd wed him. May, be'th mast if he'll let me, Aw will. When he took my 2 honds into his, good Lord, how they trembled between, an' Aw durstn't look up in his face, because on him seein' me een. Me cheek went as red as a rose. There's never a mortal can tell how happy Aw felt, for they knows Aw couldn't ha' axed him mysel'. But th' tale were at th' end o' my tongue, to let it out wouldn't be reet, for Aw thought to seem forrard were wrong, so Aw towd him Aw'd tell him to Neet. But Mally, thou knows very weel, though it isn't a thing one should own, if Aw'd the pickin' o' th' world to mysel', Aw'd oather a Jamie unknown. Now, Molly, I've towd them my mind. What would to do if 'twere thee? Aw'd tak him just while he were inclined, an' apparently bargain he'd be, for Jamie's as gradely a lad as ever stepped out into th' sun. So jump at thee chance an' get wed, an' do best tha con when it's done. Eh, dear, but it's time to be gone. Aw shouldn't like Jamie to wait. Aw connot for shame be too soon, an' Aw wouldn't for th' world be too late. I'm over trembled to feel. Dost think at me bonnet'll do? Be off, lass, tha looks very weel. He wants none o' th' bonnet, tha foo. Willy-ground. The night before Larry was stretched. Come, Caleb, and saddle thee shanks, and let's ha' no more o' thee bother. Wi' thee camplin' din o' thee pranks, thou'rt watchin' thysel' to a lother. Come, Nathan, boo up into th' nook. I know that a comical crater. Let's join at a conk and a smook, and a bumper o' what rum and waiter. Fal-al-da-dal. We're neighbours and very weel met. We're all merry lads o' good mettle. Here's Nathan, were never licked yet, and Caleb's effarently fettle. Wi' a pipe and a tot and a crack, and a crony, I'm just i' me glory. So now I'll tip th' world fro' me back, and brast off wi' a bit of a story. Fal-al-da-dal. T'other day as I rovin' arout, I let of owd Robin o' Bumpers. He's a terrible gullet for grout, and at poachin' they sayn he's a crumper. But he's got at a tot and a tail, so he popped into Peter and Nancy's, and I said to him, go for some ale, or aught i' this hole that tha fancies. Fal-al-da-dal. As we croaked wi' our gills up to th' hob, th' owd layrock began for to twitter, and he towd of a ticklesome job, that sent us o' into a titter. One day when he a prickin' a hare, a bit of a whacker come o'er him, for just as he set in a snare, th' owd owner o' th' lond stood afore him. Fal-al-da-dal. Hello, what are you doing here? Says Robin, why, nought, nobbut walking. Walk off then, cried he with a sneer. This land belongs me where you're stalking. Says Robin, you're reet, I'll be bound. But what's to be done? I can't tell, sir, for I'm like to walk somebody's ground, as I've none that belongs to mysel', sir. Fal-al-da-dal. This lond is a ticklesome lot, to wrangle about it's a blunder, for whether one owns it or not, he'll very soon hatter knock under. Both landlords and tenants mun flit, let's hope without fratchin' or frownin', then let us walk on it a bit, and then lend us a bit to lie down in. Fal-al-da-dal, lair holiday. A bit of a sing. Bill o' sheep shouters, Robin o' th' Dree, Rondel o' scouters, Twilter and me, we made Mally Grimes' owd kitchen roof ring one merry Yule time when met for to sing. Tooraloo, fol-de-day. Rondel sang counter, Robin sang bass, Twilter sang a max o' comical ways. The tenor were fine, Bill took it up well, and th' treble were mine, I sang it mysel'. Tooraloo, fol-de-day. The first were a psalm, the next were a sung, and then we sang glees till thrack and hook rung, and merry Owd Mal chimed in like a brid, as hoo tinkled to th' tune, but th' owd kettle did. Tooraloo fald a day. "Stop and rosin," cried Bill, "it's gettin' time. Weet your whistle," said Moll, "it sweetens the chime." "A tot o' peace bring," cried Rondle, and then, like lyrics o' th' wind, we'n tootle again. Tooraloo fald a day. We twittered and sang till midneet were gone, wi' capers off whoam, bith leet o' th' moon. As we wandered o'er th' moss, Bill lapped shoulder he, and "I'm fain that I'm wick," cried Robin o' th' Dree. Tooraloo fald a day. Tommy Pobs. Derry down. Tommy Pobs were a good-natured sort of a lad. He're a waver by trade, and he wore for his dad. He are fond o' down craters, neighbours aw said, that he are eat in his heart, but he'd nought in his yed. Derry down. Nana Flups were a lass that were swipper and strung, who'd a temper of fire and a rattling tongue. Hoo were as hondsome a filly as mortal e'er seed, but who come of a racklesome nattering breed. Derry down. Nan had frittered away all th' fore end of her life, for hoo'd flirted o' round, though hoo'd ne'er been a wife. But one day when hoo fund hoo were turn't 30 year owd, hoo began a bein' flayed, hoo'd be left out i'th cowd. Derry down. Then hoo tooted around among th' lads about whoam, and hoo thought hoo'd a bit of a chance wi' poor Tum, and hoo cuttet and foodlet and simpert and skenned, till hoo geet him as fast as a thief in th' far end. Derry down. Poor Tom was so maddled in't heart and i' yed, that I doubt he had deed if they hadn't been wed. But at last they stroke hands and agreed to be one. Nanny ticed him to church, and poor Tommy were done. Derry down. And when th' news of this wedding geet down into th' fowd, folk chuckled and thought that poor Tommy was sowd, and th' women aw said, "Nan's too mich for you, lad. He'd better ha' stopped till he deed with his dad." Derry down. But they buckled together for better and wur, and at first aw were reet between Tommy and her, for they'd meeterly thick, both be dayleet and dark, till th' waiter of life cooled 'em down to their wark. Derry down. Then Nanny soon changeit, and come back to hersel, and hoo campelt and snapped as no mortal can tell, and poor Tommy Pobs soon fund out that his wife, though an angel at first, were a divil for life. Derry down. Though Nan proved to blister, and kept him i' pain, Tom were like an owd sheep, for he didn't complain, and he groped to his looms, and he kept waving away, but it made little odds, who went warse every day. Derry down. And who hectored and plagued him to sich a degree that mony a time Tom'd ha' been fain for to dee. Th' lad did all that he could to keep thick wi' his wife, but it weren't in her nature to live a quiet life. Derry down. And it nettlet her so that at last hoo began to fling aught at his yed that come first to her han. It were sometimes a pitcher and sometimes a pon, and he didn't care what, if it let off owd mon. Derry down. And if that didn't vex him, a temper were sich that hoo'd nip up a tough-looking lump of a switch, and sometimes it lapped round his hide wi' a bend, and sometimes it come across Tommy's nose end. Derry down. And thus, year by year, this poor couple toort on, till Tommy had grown a grey-yedded owd mon. Then Nanny took ill, and were laid up i' bed, and who flang no more pots at owd Tommy's white yed. Derry down. At last Nanny deed, and th' owd lad felt it sore, for if hoo'd been an angel, he'd not ha' grieved more. So he lingert by th' grave till they'd happed her up well, and then he come cryin' away by hissel. Derry down. Toddlin whoam. Toddlin whoam for th' market rant, toddlin whoam content and cant, wi' me head i' me hat and me feet i' me shoon, I'm fain to be toddlin whoam. Toddlin whoam for th' fireside bliss, toddlin whoam for the childer's kiss. God bless yon bit o' curlin' smook, God bless yon cosy chimbly nook, I'm fain to be toddlin whoam. Toddlin whoam for twitterin' songs, toddlin whoam for prattlin' tongues, Toddlin whoam to sink to rest, with wife and little brids i'th nest. I'm fain to be toddlin whoam. End of part 2. Part 3 of Poems and Songs in the Lancashire Dialect by Edwin WAUGH. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. The Sweetheart Gate. There's mony a gate out of our town end, but nobbut one for me. It winds by a rindlin' waterside, and o'er a posied lea. It wanders into a shady dell, and when I've done for the day, I can never settle this heart of mine 'bout walking down that way. It's nor the garden, nor posied lea, nor way to rindlin' clear, but down i'th vale there's a rosy nook, and my true love lives there. It's allus summer where th' heart's content, though wintry winds may blow, and there's never a gate so kind to th' foot as th' gate one likes to go. When I set off for sweetheartin', I've 1,000 things to say, but the very first glent o' yon chimbly top, it drives 'em all away. And when I meet wi' me bonny lass, it sets me heart a gee. There's summat i'th light o' yon two blue een that plays the dule wi' me. When th' layrock's finished his wark aboon, and laid his music by, he flutters down to his mate, and stops till dayleet stirs i'th sky. Though Matty sends me away at dark, I know that hoo's reet full well, and it's how I love a true-hearted lass no mortal tongue can tell. I wish that Michaelmas Day were past, when waking time comes on, and I wish that Candlemas Day were here, and Matty and me were one. I wish this wandering work were o'er, this maundering to and fro, that I could go home to me own true love, and stop at Neet and Eawr. Owd Enoch. Owd Enoch o' Dan's laid his pipe down a thob, and his thin fingers played i'th white thatch of his knob. "I'm gettin' done up," to their Betty he said. "Dost think thou could doff me, and dad me to bed?" Derry down, etc. Then hoo git him to bed, and hoo happed him up weel, and hoo said to him, "Enoch, lad, how dost ta feel?" "These limbs o' mine, Betty, they're cranky and sore. It's time to shut up when one's getten fourscore." Derry down. As hoo pottered about his poor winterly pate, th' owd crater looked drowsily up at his mate. "There's nought on me laft, lass, do aw 'at tha con, but th' cratchinly frame o' what once wur a mon." Derry down. Then he turn't hissel' o'er like a chilt tiret wi' play, and Betty crept round while you're dozin' away, and his eyelids sank down. Th' owd lad muttered, "Well done! I think there's a bit o' sound sleep comin' on." Derry down. Then hoo thought hoo'd sit by till he'd had his nap o'er. If hoo'd sit there till then, hoo'd ha' risen no more, for he coolt out at th' world, and his een lost the leet, like a cinder i'th fire grate i'th deead time o' th' neet. Derry down. As Betty sit rockin' by th' side of his bed, hoo looked now and then at Owd Enoch's white yed, and hoo thought to hersel' that hoo'd not long to stay, if ever th' owd prop of her life should give way. Derry down. Then wonderin' to see him so sound and so still, hoo touched Enoch's hond, and hoo fund it wur chill. Says Betty, "He's cowd, Aw put summat more on." But aw wur no use, for Owd Enoch wur gone. Derry down. And when they put Enoch to bed down i'th ground, a rook o' poor neighbours stood bareheaded round. They dropped sprigs o' rosemary, and this wur the text: "Th' owd crater's laid by, we may haply be th' next." Derry down. So Betty wur left to tour on by hersel', and how hoo pooed through no mortal can tell. But th' doctor dropped in to look at her one day, when hoo were rockin' by th' side of an odd cup o' tay. Derry down. "Well, Betty," said th' doctor, "how dun yo get on? I'm sorry to yure 'at yo'n lost your owd mon." "What complaint had he, Betty?" Says hoo, "I can't tell. We ne'er had no doctor. he deed of hissel. Derry down. Ay, Betty, said th' doctor, there's one thing quite sure. Owd age is a thing that no physic can cure. Fate will have a way, lass. Do all that we con. When th' time's up, we's at to sign o'er and be gone. Derry down. Both winter and summer th' owd mowers at wark, siding folk out o' seat, both be dayleet and dark. He's slaving away while we snore in his bed, and he'd slash at a king if it come in his yed. Derry down. These soldiers and parsons and maisters o' lond, he lays 'em i' th' ground with their mouths full o' sond. Rags o' riches, an owd greasy cap or a crown, he sarves o' alike, for he switches 'em down. Derry down. The mon that's larnt up, and the mon that's a foo, it mays little odds for they both han to goo. When they come within th' swing of his scythe, they mun four. If yon root among th' swathe, you'll find doctors an' o'. Derry down. Our folk. Johnny gives his mind to books. Abram studies plants. He caps the dule for moss and ferns, and grewing polyants. For aught about mechanicking, Ned's the very lad. My uncle Jamie roots i'th stars, enough to drive him mad. Alick keeps a badger's shop, and teaches Sunday schoo. Joseph's welly blind, poor lad. Timothy's a foo. He's tried 3 different macks o' trades, and allers missed his tip. But then, he's the prattest whistler that ever cocked a lip. Matty helps me mother, and who sews and tents her Jo. At doing sums and sich as that, me feyther licks 'em more. Charlie, well, there connot be another pate like his. It's all crom full of ancientry, and Roman openings. Tummy's ta'en to preachin', he's a topper at it too. But then, what's the use? A bill comes in, and swears it winnot do. When t'one's been striving o'er he con to aughter wicked men, then t'other mays some marlocks, and convarts 'em o'er again. Abel's th' youngst, and next to Joe, my mother likes him t'best, who gives him brass aboon his share to keep him nicely dressed. He's getting in with quality, and when his clarking's done, he's all as o'er the cricketing a shooting wi' a gun. My uncle Sam's a fiddler, and I fain could hear him play, for a set o' sun till winter neet had melted into day. For sich glee, sich tenderness, through every changing part. It's th' heart that stirs his fiddle, and his fiddle stirs his heart. And when he touches th' trembling string, it knows his thoughts so weel. It sounds as if an angel tried to tell what angels feel. And sometimes the water in his een, that fun has made to flow, can hardly roll away afore it's blent wi' drops o' woe. And here's to Jone and Ab and Ned, and Matty and her Jo, and me feyther and me mother, and her t'other lads and o'. And thee too, owd musicianer, I wish long life to thee. A mon that plays a fiddle weel should never host to dee. Forgive one another. Come here, me bold cronies, I'll not keep you long. Come hither and hearken to me. I'll chant you a neighbourly snatch of a song, and the end of me ditty shall be, let's forgive one another. We're a wandering band in a ticklesome land, where never a mortal can stay. When you've seen folk at's weary, lads, lend 'em a hand. And as we're jogging away, let's forgive one another. This will-o'-the-wisp in a poor body's breast, it flutters the life of a mon. It plays him wild marlocks that rob him o' rest. A mortal may do what he con. Let's forgive one another. Like harp strings we made of a different tone, and the minstrel he sits up aboon. To him every note of the gamut's weel known. Let's hope that he'll keep us i' tune, to forgive one another. At neet, when a mother's her childer undressed, they paddle un up close to her knee, to whisper a prayer afore going to rest. And th' sweetest a strain unto me is forgive one another. Some liken to wrangle o'er nought but a name, and who are the mams and the dads. But gentle or simple it ends up the same. We're all Johnny Buttereth lads. let's forgive one another. When thinking of life and its troublesome way, we'n very leet need to be proud. Strike ons while you're wick, for you're not long to stay. It's late when you're lapped in a shroud, to forgive one another. And now, as we never may or meet again, for th' future no mortal can see, I'll stick to me text, lads, and as it began, so th' end of my ditty shall be. Let's forgive one another. Buckle 2. Good lorgeous days, what change there is upon this mortal ground. As time goes flying o'er one's yed, how queerly things come round. What ups and downs and ins and outs, what blending ill and well there is in one poor crater's life, it is not for to tell. When morning blinks, mon lies and thinks about the coming day. He lays his bits o' schemes so sure they cannot roll astray. He cracks his thumbs and thinks all leet just how it's planned to go, but when he looks things up at Neet, he seldom finds it so. And when a storm comes dark and loud, wi' mony a weary sigh, he toots about i'th slift as cloud to find a bit o' sky. He mopes and moans, he grunts and groans, and thinks his comfort's o'er, but th' minute th' welkins breet again, he's pearter than before. Good luck to th' mortal that can stong good luck bout being proud, that keeps his yed fro' grewing what, his heart fro' grewing cowd, that walks his chalks and heeds no talks, but does the best he con, and when things are not to his mind, can bide it like a mon. Then let's be lowly when it's fine, and cheerful when it's dark. Mon ne'er were made to mope and whine, but buckle to his wark. It sweetens there, it lightens care, I never knew it fail. Go at it then, and let's tow fair, owd time'll tell a tale. End of part 3. Part 4 of Poems and Songs in the Lancashire Dialect by Edwin WAUGH. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Neet 4. The wind blows keen through th' shivering thorns, and th' leet looks wild i'th sky. Come, Tet, stir up that fire and draw that kayther gently by. I've done me weshing, Gronny, and I've tidied everything, and now I'll sit me down to sew, and hearken th' kettle sing. Bring in some coals, and shut that door, it's quite a wintry day. Reach down that ham, for Robin likes a relish to his tay. Sweep th' grate, and set yon table out. Put th' tay-pot upon thoon, it's getting on for bagging time, and he'll be coming soon. The fire bruns clear, and th' house begins a looking brisk and breet, as th' time draws near when he gets back fro' town at th' Yesterneet. It makes one hutched wi' glee to hear a favourite foot come whoam, and it's very fine to hearken when one thinks it's sure to come. Th' cat pricks up her ears at th' sneck wi' mony a leetsome toot, and th' owd armchair i'th corner seems as if it yur'd his foot. The window blinks, and th' clock begins a ticking loud and fain, and th' tin things winking upo' th' wall, they groon as breet again. Kettle's humming o'er wi' fun, just look at th' end o' spout. It's like a little sooty lad that set his lips to shout. Th' water drops that fall fro' th' tap are getting wick wi' glee, and you're fain, Gronny, too, I know, but noan as fain as me. Keep th' rockers goin' soft and slow, and shade that leet away. I think this little duck's o' th' mend, who sleeps so ill to-day. Doors on, me darling, keep 'em shut, those teeny windows blue. Good Lord, if aught should happen thee, what could thee mammy do? Here, Gronny, put this cover on, and tuck it nicely in. Keep th' kayther stirring gently, and make very little din, and lap those dimpled hons away fro' th' frosty winter air. They line atop o' th' bit o' quilt like two clock-hammers there. But stop, who's laughing? Come, hie up, me bonny little puss. God bless it, Dad's noan far off, let mammy have a buss. He's here, Tet, bring that cheer. Eh, dear, these darlings too. If it were not for this child and him, what could a body do? A lift on the way. Come, what's the use of fratchin', lads? This life's none so long. So if you'n gether round, I'll try me under to sung. It may show a guiding glimmer to some wanderer stray, or haply give some poor owd soul a lift on the way. A lift on the way, a lift on the way, or haply give some poor owd soul a lift on the way. Life's road's full o' ruts, it's very slutchy in its tree, and mony a worn-out limper lies him down there to dee. Then floundering low i'th gutter, he looks round with dismay, to see if aught i'th world can give a lift on the way. A lift on the way, a lift on the way, to see if aught i'th world can give a lift on the way. There's some folk 'at mun trudge it, and there's some folk 'at may ride, but never mortal mon can tell what chance may betide. Today he may be blossoming like roses he may, tomorn he may be begging for a lift on the way. A lift on the way, a lift on the way, tomorn he may be begging for a lift on th' way. Goodwill, it's a jewel where there's little else to spare, and a mon may help another though his pouch may be bare. A generous heart like sunshine brings good cheer in its ray, and a friendly word can sometimes give a lift on the way. A lift on the way, a lift on the way, and a friendly word can sometimes give a lift on the way. Like posies that are parching in the midsummer sun, there's mony a poor heart faints afore the journey to be run. Let's lay the dust wi' kindness till the close of the day, and gie these drooping travellers a lift on the way. A lift on the way, a lift on the way, and gie these drooping travellers a lift on the way. Oh, soft be his pillow when he sinks down to his rest, that can keep the lamb o' charity alive in his breast. May pleasant feelings haunt him as he's dozing away, and angels give him up aboon a lift on the way. A lift on the way, a lift on the way, and angels give him up aboon a lift on the way. Jog on, me noble comrades, then, and so mote it be, that hond in hond we travel till the day that we dee. And now, to end me ditty, lads, let's heartily pray, that heaven may give us, every one, a lift on the way. A lift on the way, a lift on the way, that heaven may give us, every one, a lift on the way. Yesterneet. I geet up a milking this morning, I geet up before it were late. I ne'er slept a minute for thinking what Robin said yesterneet. I've brocken 2 basins i'th dairy, I've scorded me gronny wi' tay. It's no use a tryin' a spinning, me wheel's out o' trim today. It's oh yon Robin, his een ne'er twinkled so breet, as he did when he measured me finger for th' little gowd ring last neet. Our Dorothy's singing i'th shippen, our Jonathan's lounging i'th fowd, our Tummy's at th' fair where he lippens, a swapping his cowt for gowd. Me Gronny's asleep wi' a knitting, and th' kittlin's playing with yarn. Our Betty's gone out wi' a gallon to th' chaps at their wark in the barn. It's oh yon Robin, his een ne'er twinkled so breet, as he did when he measured me finger for th' little gowd ring last neet. And th' lasses and lads are i'th meadow, they gettin' their baggin' i'th hay. I yure them as leetsome as layrocks i'th sky on a shiny day. But little care I for their marlocks, I dunnot want folk to see, though I'm fitter for cryin' than laughin', there's nobody's fain as me. For oh yon Robin, his een ne'er twinkled so breet, as they did when he measured me finger for th' little gowd ring last neet. When I crept into th' nook wi' me sewin', me mother peeped round so sly. Who knowed I were glentin' at th' coppice where Robin comes riding by? Then hoo come to me snurchin' and tootin', and whisperin', "How dost feel? Dost think I should send for a doctor?" But th' doctor hoo knows reet weel. It's o' yon Robin, his een ne'er twinkled so breet, as they did when he measured me finger for th' little gowd ring last neet. Me feyther sits dozing i'th corner, he's dreamin' o' th' harvest day. When Robin comes in for his daughter, what'll me feyther say? Th' rosebuds are peepin' i'th garden, an' th' blossoms o'th apple tree. Oh, how will life's winter time find us, yon Robin o' mine an' me? Oh, yon Robin, his een ne'er twinkled so breet, as they did when he measured me finger for th' little gowd ring last neet. Then for kisses and blushes, and hurryin' to and fro, and for sly sweet whispers that nobody but me mun know. Then for rings and for ribbins, and bonnets and posies fine, and it's all in a flutter, this little fond heart o' mine. For oh, yon Robin, his een ne'er twinkled so breet, as they did when he measured me finger for th' little gowd ring last neet. I've worn me bits o' shoon away. I've worn me bits o' shoon away, wi' roving up and down, to see yon moorland valleys and yon little country town. The dule tak shoon and stockings too, me heart feels hutchin' fain, and if I trudge it barfoot, lads, I'll see yon town again. It's what care I for cities grand, we never shall agree. I'd rayther live where th' layrock sings, a country town for me. A country town where one can meet wi' friends and neighbours known, where one can lounge i'th market place and see the meadows mown. Yon moorland hills are bloomin' wild at th' endin' o' July, yon woodland kloofs and valleys green, the sweetest under th' sky. Yon dainty rindles dancin' down fro' th' mountains into th' plain. As soon as th' new moon rises, lads, I'm off to th' moors again. There's hearty lads among yon hills, and in yon country town, they'n far more sense than prouder folk, I'll uphoud it for a crown. They wick and warm and wark and fun, wherever they may go. The primest breeds o' lads i'th world, good luck attend 'em o'. Last night I laughed the city throng, and climbed yon hillock green, and turned me face to th' moorland hills, with waiter in me een. With waiter welling in me een, I'll bundle up and go, and I'll live and dee in me own country, where the moorland breezes blow. Gentle Jone. I seed a thoughtful chap one day, his face were mild, his topping grey, wi' wandering foot he went astray, down yon lone. I axed a lame old mon i'th road to tell me what that chap were called. Says he, I thought oich body knowed, Gentle Jone. Owd lad, said I, just look how ronk these daisies groon at th' edge o' th' bonk. Let's cower us down and have a conk, just till noon. He pooed a reach o' bacco out, and cheese and muffin in a clout, and then began to tell about Gentle Jone. Says he, some folk are brass are fond, they cowed i'th heart and cramped i'th hond, but yon's the flower o' this lond, Gentle Jone. His heart's as true as guinea gowd, he's good to folk at's ill and owd, childer poon his lap i'th fowd, Gentle Jone. I'd better crown his off to th' vale, to hear some crater's sorry tale. I've never knowed his kindness fail, Gentle Jone. O'er hill and kloof and moss and moor, he's reet weel known to folk at's poor, a welcome foot at every door, Gentle Jone. He tak's delight in roving round to quiet nooks where sorrow's found. He comes like rain to drufty ground, Gentle Jone. He's very slow at thinking ill, he'll pass a fort wi' reed good will, and doing good's his pastime still, Gentle Jone. And when I broke this poor owd limb, I should ha' deed except for him. He said no more, his een geet dim, mine were th' same. Owd Brid, said I, let's have a gill. No, no, said he, I'm noan so weel. It's time to paddle down this hill to th' owd dame. 'Twere nearly noon, i'th month o' May. We said we'd meet another day, and then th' owd crater limped away down th' green lone. And now let's do the thing that's reet, and then when death puts out her leet, we'll haply ston a chance to meet gentle Jone. End of part 4. Part 5 of Poems and Songs in the Lancashire Dialect by Edwin WAUGH. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Tum Rindle. Tum Rindle loped fro' the Chimbley nook as th' winter sun were sinking. I'm tired o' cowrin' here i'th smook and wasting time i' thinking. It frets me heart and racks me brew, it sets me head a stewing. A man that wouldn't dee a foo mun up and start a doing. Then Mally, reich me Sunday shoon to ron me bits o' toes in, and on me th' jog fro' th' top o' th' oon, and let me dip me nose in, and come and fill it up again, and dunnot look so dowldy. There's nought can lick a marlock when one's brains are getting mouldy. Oh, lay the ruck o' neighbour lads, frisky cowts and bowdens, and let 'em bring the mams and dads, we'n have it pranked wi' owdens, and th' lads and lasses they shan sing, and foot it leet and limber, and Robin Lilter he shall bring his merry bit o' timber. And Joe shall come, and Jone and Ben, and poor owd limpin' Liger, and Mal and Sal and Fan and Nan, and curly-pated Bijah. And gentle Charlie shall be theer, and little Dick the ringer, and Most and Sam, oh like to hear a snowy-headed singer. I'll poo me gronny out o' th' nook, and send for Dolly Maybo, for when hoo's gradely donned hoo look as grand as th' Queen o' Sheba. And little Nell shall daunce with me, hoo Nelly's young and bonny, and when Aw've had a daunce with thee, Aw'll keep her wi' me gronny. Then Mally, fill it up again, and dunnot look so dowldy. There's nought can lick a marlock when one's brains are getting mouldy. We're young and hearty, dunnot croak, let's frisk it now or never. So here's good luck to country folk, and country fun for ever. Bonny Nan. Eh, Ned, owd mon, I feel as fain as spreetest brid as sings i' May. Come sit thee down, I'll wear a crown, we'll have a rousing rant to-day. Let's daunce and sing, I've bought a ring for Bonny Nan i'th Owd Dale. Then eh for fun me moping's done, and now I'm brisk as bottled ale. Oh, guess, owd brid, what's bound to be, for I like Nan, and hoo likes me. 12 months at after Robin deed, who looked so down, wi' ne'er a smile, I couldn't find i' heart o' mind to cheap a wedding for a while. I thought I'd bide, but still I sighed, for th' morning cloud to clear away. I watched her een grew breet again, a layrock tooting out for day. Then guess, owd brid, what's bound to be, for I like Nan, and hoo likes me. My Nanny's fair and trim and rare, a modest lass, as sweet to see. Her een are blue, her heart it's true, and Nanny's hardly 23. And life's so strong when folk are young, that waiting longer wouldna do. These moor-end lads, who turns their heads, who's been a widow long enoo. Then guess, owd brid, what's bound to be, for I like Nan, and hoo likes me. I've sin at Neet about a leet, a midge keep buzzing to and fro, then dart at th' shine, that looks so fine, and brun his wings at th' end of o'er. That midge is me, it's plain to see, me wings are brunt, and yet I'm fain, for wheer I leet I find so sweet, I's never want to fly again. Then guess, owd brid, what's bound to be, for I like Nan, and hoo likes me. Tickle times. Here's Robin, looks fearfully gloomy, and Jamie keeps staring at th' ground. He's thinking o' th' table that's empty, and th' little things yammering round. It looks very dark just afore us, but keep your hearts out o' your shoon. Though clouds may be thickening o'er us, there's lots o' blue heaven aboon. But when a mon's honestly willin', and never a stroke to be had, and clemmin' for want of a shillin', no wonder that he should be sad. It troubles his heart to keep seein' his little brids feedin' o' th' air, and it feels very hard to be deein', and never a mortal to care. But life's such a quare bit o' travel, a marlock wi' sun and wi' shade, and then on a bowster o' gravel he lain as i' bed wi' a spade. It's no use a pouting and fratching, as thwirly-gigs twirling around. Have at it again, and keep scratching, as long as your head's above ground. If one could but grope i'th inside on't, there's trouble i' every heart, and those that'n the biggest o'th pride on't, oft leeten o'th keenest o'th smart. Whatever may chance to come to us, let's patiently hondle a share, for there's mony a fine suit o' cloose that covers a murdering care. There's danger i' every station, i'th palace as much as i'th got, there's anchor i' every condition, and canker i' every lot. There's folk that are weary o' living, that never feart hunger nor cowd, and there's mony a miserly cratur that's deed of a surfeit o' gowd. One feels now at times are so nipping, a mon's at a troublesome scoo that slaves like a horse for a living, and flings it away like a foo. But as pleasure's sometimes a misfortin, and trouble sometimes a good thing, though we livin' o'th floor same as layrocks, we'n go up like layrocks to sing. Jamie's Frolic. One neet Aw crope whoam when me waving were o'er, to brush more and wash more and fettle me yure. Then trailin' about wi' me heart i' me shoon, kept tryin' me hond at a bit of a tune, as Mally sit rockin' and darnin' a stockin' and tentin' a bakin' i'th oon. The chilt were asleep and me cluers were reet, the baggins were ready and all lookin' sweet, but o'er Maisie and Nattle and fastn't to tell what the dule it could be that are ailin' mysel', and it made me so naught that Aw somehow I thought Aw could just like a snap at our Mal. Poor lass, hoo were kinder because Aw were queer. Come, Jamie, and sattle thisel in a chair. Thah's looked very yonderly mony a day. It's grievin' to see how thou'rt wearin' away, and trailin' about like a hen at's i'th mout. Do, prither, pu up to thee tay. They want some new flannels, they's getten a cowd. Thou'rt know they're so ugly, me lad, nor so owd, but thou'rt makin' thysel' into nought but a slave, wi' wavin' and thinkin' and tryin' to save. Get summat to heat or they'll go out o' seat, for thou'rt watchin' thysel' into th' grave. Thinks I, th' lass is reet, an' Aw howd with her wit, so Aw said, for Aw wanted to cheer her a bit, "Owd cratur, I've noan made up my mind to dee. A frolic'll just be the physic for me. Aw'll see some fresh places, and look at fresh faces, and go have a bit of a spree." Then bumpin' and splashin' a kettle went down. "I'th name a good catty, Jem, where at a boun? An' what sort o' faces dost want? Can't to tell? Aw doubt that for makin' a fool o' thysel'. The dule may tempt thoon, if Aw go without shoon. Aw'll see where tha goes to mysel'." Thinks I, th' fat's i'th fire, I mun make it no wur, for there's plenty o' feightin' to do out o' th' door. So I'll talk very prattily to her, as how, or else hoo'll have howd o' my toppin' in now. An' bi th' leetin' her een, it were fair to be seen that hoo were ready to rive me i' tow. If truth mun be towd, Aw began to be fain to study a bit o' me quartin' again. So I said to her, "Mally, this world's rough enow. To fa' out wi' who's one likes best winnot do. It's a very sore smart, an' it sticks long i'th heart, an' egad, Aw said nought but what's true. Lord, how a mon talks when his heart's in his tongue. Aw roosed her, poor lass, an' showed her were wrong, till hoo took me byth hond wi' a tear in her e'e, an' said, 'Jamie, there's nobody as tender as thee. Forgie me, lad, do, for Aw'm nobbut a foo, an' bide wi' me now till Aw dee.' So we'n bide one another, whatever may come, for there's no peace i'th world if there's no peace o' whoam. An' now, when a random word gies her some pain, an' makes her a little bit cross in her grain, sunshine comes back as soon as Aw crack a beginnin' me quartin' again. Owd Pinder. Owd Pinder were a rackless foo, an' spent his days i' spreein'. At th' end of every drinkin' do, he were sure to crack a deein'. "Go, sell me rags an' sell me shoon. Aw's never lived to trail 'em. Me ballast pipes are out o' tune, an' th' wint begins to fail 'em. Our Matty's very fresh an' young, 'twould any mon bewilder. Hoo'll wed again afore it's lung, for th' lass is fond o' childer. Me bit o' brass'll fly, yo'n see, when th' coffin lid has screened me. it goes again me pluck today, and leave a wick behind me. Come, Matty, come and cool me head. Aw'm finished to me thinking. He whapped him up nicely and said, Tha's brought it on wi' drinking. Nay, nay, said he, me fuddle's done, wi' parting, Tom for t'other. So promise me that when Aw'm gone, thou'll never wed another. Th' owd tale, said hoo, and laughed a stew. It's really past believing. Thee think o' th' world thee art goin' to, and leave this world to th' living. What use to me can deed folk be? Tha's kilt thysel' wi' spreein', and if that's aw they wants wi' me, get forrard wi' thee deein'. He scrat his yed, he rubbed his eye, and then he donned his breeches. How a Matty gets as force, said he, as one o' Pendle witches. If ever Aw'm to muster wit, it mun be now or never. Aw think Aw'll try to live a bit. It wouldn't do to lever. End of part 5. Part 6 of Poems and Songs in the Lancashire Dialect by Edwin WAUGH. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Th' Goblin Parson. Thwint were still i'th shade o'th hill, and stars began a glowin', i'th fading leet one summer neet, when th' dew were softly fawin'. Wi' weary shanks by primrose banks, where rindlin' wheat were shinin', Aw whistlet careless, wanderin' slow, toward me cot inclinin'. Through th' woodland green Aw tooted keen for th' little window winkin'. Th' stars may shine, they're none as fine as Matty's candle blinkin'. O'er th' rosy hedge Aw went to th' ridge o' th' lonesome shaded plantin', to get another blink o' th' leet that set my heart a pantin'. Then down bi th' well i'th fairy dell, wi' trees aboon it knittin', where near and fur they're nowt astir but bats i'th owleet flittin', and fearfu' sounds that rustlet round i' mony a goblin flitter, as swarming dark to fleysome wark they flew wi' fiendish titter. Theer, reet anent Aw geet a glent that brought a shiver o'er me, for fair i'th track the summat black come creepin' on afore me. It were not clear, but it were theer, with gloomy shadow blendin', now black and slim, now grey and grim, with no other side nor endin'. Cowd drops were tremblin' on me brew, as there Aw stood belated. Aw durstn't turn, Aw durstn't go, but shut my een and waited. And just as Aw begun to pray, there come fro' th' creepin' spectre a weel-known voice that said, "Well, James!" 'Twere nowt but th' village rector. "Well, James," said he, "I'm fain to see your pew so weel attended, but then you shouldn't fa' asleep afore my sarmon's ended. To drowsy ears it's useless quite to scatter holy teichin'. Why don't you bring a bit o' snuff and tak' it while I'm preachin'?" "Well, well," said Aw, "there's mony a way o' keepin' een fro' closin'. A needle might keep th' body wake, an' th' soul might still be dozin'. But this receipt would set it reet. If th' mitcher were a warmon, you get some stingin' gospel snuff, and put it into th' sarmon." He stared like mad, but th' good owd lad then gripped my hond warm-hearted, and said, "You're reet, good neet," and that were how we parted. It touched my heart, and made it smart, he spoke so mild and pratty. Aw blessed him as he walked away, and then went whoam to Matty. "Come, Jamie, let's undo thy shoon. Come, Jamie, let's undo thy shoon, and don summat dry on thy feet. We're toilin' i'th shower up and down, Aw'm flayed at thy stockins a weet. An' here wi' my young uns i'th neest, Aw've been hearkenin' to th' patter o' th' rain, and longin' for th' wanderin' brid to comfort my spirits again. To-day, when it pelted at th' height, Aw ston it no longer, said I, for really it didn't look reet to cower under cover so dry. So though it were rainin' like mad, Aw thought, for my heart gav a swell, come down as to will, but yon lad shall not have it all to hissel. So whipping me bucket i'th rain, or gath bits o' windows a swill, an' though I geet drenched to me skin, Aw're better content wi' mysel'. But thou ston's theer smilin' o'th floor, like a sunflower drippin' wi' wheat. Eh, Jamie, thou know'st, Aw'm sure, how fain Aw'm to see thee to neet. Eh, lass, what's a shower to me? Aw've plenty o' sun in my breast. Me wark keeps me hearty an' free, an' gies me a relish for rest. Aw'm no made o' sugar nor salt, that melts wi' a steepin' o' rain. An' as for me jacket, it's nowt. Aw'll dry it bi th' leet o' the e'en. Come sit thee down close by my side. Aw'm full as a cricket wi' glee. Aw'm troubl't wi' nothing but pride, an' own it owin' to thee. Thou trim little pattern for wives, come, give a poor body a kiss. Aw wish every storm of our lives may end up as nicely as this. While taking a wift o' me pipe. While taking a wift o' me pipe t'other neet, a thought trickled into me pate, that sulking because everything isn't sweet is nobbut a foolish conceit. If mon had been made for a bit of a spree, an' th' world were a marlocking schoo, wi' nought nobbut hatin' an' drinkin' an' glee, an' haliday gam to go through, he'd sicken afore his frolic were o'er, an' feel he'd been born for a foo. Poor cratur, he's o'er discontentment an' doubt, whatever his fortin may be. He's just like a choilt that goes cryin' about, "Oh, Johnny's more treacle nor me." One minute he's troubl't, next minute he's fain, an' then they're so blended i' one, it's hard to tell whether he's laughin' through pain, or whether he's poutin' for fun. He stumbles an' grumbles, he struggles an' juggles, he capers a bit, an' he's gone. It's wise to be humble i' prosperous ways, for trouble may chance to be nee. It's wise for to struggle wi' sorrowful days, till sorrow breeds sensible glee. He's rich that, contented wi' little, lives weel, an' nurses that little to more. He's weel off 'at's rich, if he nobbut can feel he's brother to those that are poor. An' to him 'at does fair, though his living be bare, some comfort shall ever be sure. We'n nobbut a lifetime o' peace here below, an' th' longest is very soon spent. There's summat aboon measures cuts for us o'er, an' th' most on 'em nobbut a fent. Long or short, rough or fine, little matter for that, we'll make th' best o' th' stuff till it's done. An' when it leets out to get riven a bit, let's darn it as weel as we con. When th' order comes to us to doff these old clothes, there'll surely be new uns to don. God bless thee, silver yure. Jone, lad, though the hand's like rousty iron to feel, there's very few i'th lond who're like to gripe as weel. They'll never dee i'th dumps because o' bein' poor. Thy good old king o' trumps, God bless thee, silver yure. Poo up to th' side o' th' hob, an' rest thee wheer he shanks, an' dunnot fret thee nob wi' fortin an' a pranks. These folk 'at's proud an' rich may tremble at a frown, they'n further far nor sich as thee to tumble down. Thou never longs for wine, nor dainties rich an' rare, for sich a life as thine can sweeten simple fare. Contented wi' thy meal, thy's wit enough to know that daisies live an' weel where tulips connot grow. An' though thy clooas are rough, an' gettin' very owd, they'n none so weel enough to keep thy limbs fro' cowd. A foo would pine away in sich a suit as thine, but thou'rt the stuff to may a fustian jacket fine. A tattered clout may lap, a very noble prize. A king may be, by hap, a beggar i' disguise. When ton has laughed his feast, and t'other done his crust, then which is which at last, these little piles o' dust. And though the share of life may seem a losing game, thah's striven fair i'th strife, and kept a decent aim. No mouse nooks i'th mind, nor malice i'th breast. Thah's still been true and kind, and trusted fate wi' th' rest. Through trouble, toil, and wrong, thah's whistlet at thy wark. Thah's wrostlet life so long, thy lambs are gettin' stark. But sich a heart as thine's a never failin' friend. It cheers a mon's decline, and keeps it sweet to th' end. Thy banner'll soon be furled, and then they'n ha' to tell. He travelled the dirty world, and never soilty sell. And when I come to thee, and death has ta'en his tow, I hope to lee to thee. God bless this snowy bough. Margit's comin. Oh, Sam, whatever does to mean? Oh, see that there ith nook again, where over Jill, that's 9 or 10, has dropped into a 14. I wonder how a mon can sit and waste his bit o' wage and wit. If I were thee, wife, I'd make the flit, wi' little time to start in. But Owd, your Margit's up i'th town. I heard her ax for thee at th' crown, and just meet now Aw scumpert down. It's true as aught i'th Bible. Thou knows ye, Margit, weel of owd, her tongue it makes my fair go cowd, sin th' day who broke me nose i'th fowd, with thedgeth porritch thibble. It's 10 to 1 who'll co in here, and poo thee out o' th' corner chair, so sit fur back where th' running's clear, or keep me een off window. Thou mind the hits, and when I shout, be limber-legged and lammas out, and thou'll not believe or doubt, I'll swear I never sin thee. I'll bite me tongue, I will bith mon, I'll plug me ears up till hoo's gone. A grewing tree could hardly stun a savage woman flighting. If folk were nobbut o' i'th mind to make the bits o' booses kind, there'd be less wandering out to find a corner to be quiet in. It's nearly 3 o'clock by th' chime, this ale o' gems is very prime. I'll cower me down till bagging time, and have a reach o' bacco. I guess tha's heard o' Clinker lad, and lilting Jenny getting wed, and Collop going wrang i'th yed, but that's nought mich to crack o'er. There's news that chaps at wore a crown are getting powlet up and down. They punsing 'em fro' town to town, like footboars in a pasture. Young Gary Baldy's gan 'em silk, th' owd lad he's fairly made 'em swilk, and now they sen he's selling milk to raise new cloos for Eyster. There's some a creeping out o' th' slutch, and some a getting down i'th Dutch, but by th' mon, I never yerd o' sich a world for change o' fortin. They gooing groaning out o' th' seat, they coming crying into th' leet, but Owd, I yerd o' Monday neet, a tale about a quotin'. Poo up, I'll tell it if I con. Thou knows that little bow-legged mon. But eh, owd lad, your Margit's yon, who's coming like a racer. Some foo has put her upo' th' track. Cut, Sam, who'll have us in a crack. I said who'd come, let's run out th' back. Bith mass, I dare not face her. End of part 6. Part 7 of Poems and Songs in the Lancashire Dialect by Edwin WAUGH. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Hard Weather, Winter 1878-9. Good lorgeous days, what times are these, for clemming and for cowd, for doleful looks and wintry nooks, where folk are poor and owd, for hopeless care and dark despair, and gloomy want o' trust, for fireless hearths and cupboards bare, and bitter want o' crust. But bide, lads, bide, for a happier tide, and keep your hearts out o' your shoon. Through thick and thin we'll ne'er give in, there's a bit o' blue sky aboon. There never were sich mournful cries of famine yerd afore. John Chinaman's been clemmed to death, and India's suffered sore. Your mills may weel be stonning still, your markets weel be slack, for when folks nipped for want o' mate, they'n nought to spare for th' back. But bide, lads, bide, for a happier tide, and keep your hearts out o' your shoon. Through thick and thin we ne'er give in, there's a bit o' blue sky aboon. Sich strikes and rows and breakages, there never yet were known, sich fretting and sich chetting, and sich bitter starving moan. These knavish pranks i' trusted banks are spreading ruin round, and every hour the trading ranks are crashing to the ground. But bide, lads, bide, for a happier tide, and keep your hearts out o' your shoon. Through thick and thin we'll ne'er give in, there's a bit o' blue sky aboon. Whilst trade declines and taxes rise, and ruin stalks the land, we groan to see the good we prize crushed by a rampant band. 'tis ours to watch each bloody fray, and mad gunpowder plot, and win the day whoever may, 'tis ours to pay the shot. But bide, lads, bide, for a happier tide, and keep your hearts out o' your shoon. Through thick and thin we ne'er give in, there's a bit o' blue sky aboon. Though th' bitter air and living bare gets keener every day, and th' emptier folks' pockets are, the more they han to pay, though strikes and wars and swindling tricks are sending th' wide world wrong, yet come what will, this shall be still the burden of my song. But bide, lads, bide, for a happier tide, and keep your hearts out o' your shoon. Through thick and thin we'll ne'er give in, there's a bit o' blue sky aboon. Come, limber lads. Come, limber lads, so leet and gay, on fain wi' wick and hearty. To-neet we'n have a holiday, to-morn we's find it warty. Like sailors thrut bi th' stormy main into a nook together, 1 hour of friendly fun, and then again for wind and weather. Owd Time, though when a mon's i' th' dumps he's seldom in a hurry, nips up his shins and off he stumps the minute one gets merry. Life's road, though not as dree as his, is harder wark to travel. One leets a few sich nooks as this, and th' journey ends i'th gravel. Then clink and sing, me lucky lads, and frisk it while you're able. There's cheapin' layrocks round the board, and plenty upo' th' table. Come, crack your jokes, and let 'em leet a sly deception scorning. We'n prank it out wi' glee to-neet, and strike to wark i'th morning. If all that wanders under th' sky be grass that cannot linger, let every mortal blade that's dry cock up his little finger. Then fill for him that's full o' fun, and let it be a thumper, and th' lad that thinks he's nearly done, we'n ruse him wi' a bumper. And now, to end this friendly rant, turn up your tots to th' ceiling. Let's hope that he may ne'er feel scant that never scant a feeling. Good luck to th' lad that wants a wife wi' rosy chens to bind him, and th' mon that wants a foo, bi'th life, i'th looking glass he'll find him. The Garland. Air, Cupid's Garden. 'Twas when the dawn of morning began to stir i'th sky, I donned mysel' to wander, afore the dew were dry. To wander in the gay greenwood, reet early I did rove. I could not sleep upon my bed, for thinking of me love. Down in a bonny dingle, where sometimes we did stray, our vows of love to mingle, at close of summer day. It's there, where oft among her hair, the flowers of spring I've wove, I sat me down to think upon the girl that I do love. It's there I made a garland, my darling for to don, and the posies that were in it, they shined like the sun. The dewy posies, wild and sweet, all in the leafy grove. It breaks my heart to think upon the girl that I do love. The cowslip and the speedwell, with the dewdrop in its ee, and the wild rose and the bluebell, they blend so bonnily. And the honeysuckle, wandering wild, with violets blue I wove, they made me for to think upon the girl that I do love. And when I pooed me posies, the small birds they did sing, and when I wove me garland, they made the woods to ring. On every tree the wild birds' glee rang through the leafy grove, as I came away at dawn of day, still thinking of my love. Oh, the morning sun it rises, to cheer my heart's delight, and the silver moon she wanders among the clouds at night, and the twinkling stars that look so fine all in the heavens above. At wark or play, be neet and day, I'm thinking of my love. These bonny bits o' childer. Air, has sorrow thy young days shaded? Never tell me that childer are tiresome. They're the best little craters alive, and i'th beautiful country aboon us, they throng as a hummer-bee hive. The sunlight of heaven beams round them, and seldom a mortal can meet, in this changeable world that we're born to, with aught so unsullied and sweet. Never tell me that childer are tiresome, they're the best little craters alive, and i'th beautiful country aboon us, they throng as a hummer-bee hive. With their prattling talk and their marlocks, they keepen a body's heart green, and i'th gloomiest hour o' life's winter, I can sun me i'th leet o' their een. With sound o' their sweet chicken music, they maken my little coat ring, like a cage full o' twittering angels that's sent down from heaven to sing. Never tell me that childer are tiresome, they're the best little craters alive, and i'th beautiful country aboon us, they throng as a hummer-bee hive. And when I grow weary wi' thinking, and everything round me seems dark, they keepen me spirits fro' sinking, and sending me back to me wark. For I feel there's something to live for, though everything else should depart, and there's nowt i'th wild world so precious as treasures that sweeten the heart. Never tell me that children are tiresome, they're the best little craters alive, and i'th beautiful country aboon us, they're as throng as a hummer-bee hive. And when eventide deepens around us, and I get 'em laid snugly to rest, I sometimes creep up again softly to look at 'em lying i'th nest, and then th' quiet tears come down dreeping as I sit by the bedside alone, for the face of a little child sleeping would soften the heart of a stone. Then never say childer are tiresome, they're th' best little craters alive, and i'th beautiful country aboon us, they throng as a hummer-bee hive. Oh, the sunshine of heaven enfolds them, and seldom a mortal can meet, in this changeable world that we're born to, without so unsullied and sweet. Then never say childer are tiresome, they're th' best little craters alive, and i'th beautiful country aboon us, they throng as a hummer-bee hive. To my old fiddle. Oh, David was a famous king, and maisterman o' singers. His fiddle was a witching thing when touched by David's fingers. But David never stirred a string to melody as fine, oh, and David's fiddle couldn't sing like this owd brid o' mine, oh. My bonny little angel neest, so tender, sweet, and funny, I wouldn't swap me music kist to own a mint o' money. I sometimes think it's gradely wick, the singing birds inside on't, and not a string but swarming thick wi' little elves astride on't. For it can sob and moan and sigh, and it can pout and whimper, and it can coax and wheedle sly, and it can lisp and simper, and it can laugh and crow and shout, and it can wail so keen, oh, folk connot see their gate about for th' waiter in their een, oh. The wood were groon i fairyland that th' bits o' pegs were made on, and every nook on't thrills wi' life the minute that it's played on. For th' younger end o' fairy folk, they dancing upo' th' bridge on't, they capering upo' th' fiddle bow, and riding upo' th' ridge on't. As I go tweedling up and down, I meet wi' welcome free, oh. There's never a mon that comes to town that over's fain to see, oh. For th' childer bringin' me butter cakes to tickle up me timber, and fuddlers bringin' me gills of ale to make me elbow limber. Me darling little singing bird, we'n both grown owd together, and we'n been kind and faithful friends through dark and sunny weather. And though nought else should make a moan, the day that I shall dee, oh, if they'n let this little brid alone, it'll sing a hymn for me, oh. It's time to be jogging away. Granna Whale. When pitchers are empty and pouches are bare, it's time to be jogging away. When they grieve in the heart and they stint in the fare, it's time to be jogging away. When they snapping and fratching and peevishly catching at th' best that a body can say, when love's ta'en amiss with a winterly kiss, it's time to be jogging away. At the close of the day when the sun has gone down, it's time to be jogging away. When night draws a curtain a deepening frown, it's time to be jogging away. When the sky has no moon, and from dark clouds aboon no star shows a glimmering ray, when the journey is lone and the gathering winds moan, it's time to be jogging away. When slander is loud, and when tricksters are proud, it's time to be jogging away. When truth meets with slight, and when craft wins the fight, it's time to be jogging away. When rascals grow bold, and when cronies grow cold, and cross to the opposite way, When foemen look sly, and when neighbours look shy, it's time to be jogging away. When the night brings no rest, and the daylight no cheer, it's time to be jogging away. When the heart's full of pain, and the head full of care, it's time to be jogging away. When favours are sold, and affection grows cold, and kindness begins to decay. When friendship has fled, and we live with the dead, it's time to be jogging away. When the shank's growing slim, and the eyes growing dim, it's time to be jogging away. When the foot totters slow, and the pulse flutters low, it's time to be jogging away. When the blood's getting thin, and we wearied wi' din, it draws to the close of the day. Then farewell to all, for the passing bells call. It's time to be jogging away. End of part 7. Part 8 of Poems and Songs in the Lancashire Dialect by Edwin WAUGH. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Little cattle, little care. Laddie, good dog, the day wark's done. The sun's low in the west. The lingering wild birds, one by one, are flitting to the nest. Mild evening's fairy fingers close the curtain of the day, and the drowsy landscape seeks repose in twilight shadows grey. Little cattle, little care, lie thee down, laddie. We never owned a yard o' ground, we'n little wealth in hand, but thee and me can sleep as sound as th' richest folk i'th land. And when they're all alike laid down and lapped in dreamless snooze, between a monarch and a clown there's not a pin to choose. Little cattle, little care, lie thee down, laddie. Let the miser hug his glittering prey, and think his joys complete. Let him root among it all the day, and count it o'er at Neet. He can trail it but to th' end o'th road, where life's short tale is told. Then death takes off his golden load, and leaves him in the cold. Little cattle, little care, lie thee down, laddie. Then come, good dog, the day wark's done. We'll let the world roll by. There's never a king below the sun as happy as thou and I. For though kings lie on beds of down, sweet sleep they seldom find, and there's not a jewel in all the crown that's worth a quiet mind. Little cattle, little care, lie thee down, laddie. Cradle Song. Th' child cries i'th cradle, th' cake bruns o'th stone, th' cow moos i'th milking gap at th' end o'th lone. The cat purrs o'th hearthstone, th' clock ticks i'th nook, th' kettle sings o'th hob, and th' pon hangs on th' hook. Th' woint roars i'th chimbly, brings down the soot. Mam knits and sings, and rocks with her foot. Nan's off a churnin', Dick's gone to th' barn, lap little Billy up to keep him warm. Round Billy's curly yed good fairies play, tentin' his little bed till break o' day. One day brings sunshine, th' next day brings rain, no day brings Billy's dad back here again. Sleep, little darlin', sleep, God watch o'er thee. Thou'rt all that's left i'th world to comfort me. The Little Doffer. A merry little doffer lad come down to Shapper's Mill to see if he could get a shop. He said his name were Bill. Bill what, me lad? th' o'erlooker said. Art a good note beside? Oy, aye, said th' lad. They call me things, sometimes it's bad to bide. But what's thee feyther's name, me lad? Thou'll surely tell me that, said th' lad. Some call him Appledad, his gradely name's Owd Hat. Me Uncle Joe's called Flopper Chops, and sometimes Owd Betide. They call him those at th' waving shops, and I know nought beside. Said th' o'erlooker, I know Owd Joe, he waves for Willy-ground. But what dun they call thee, me lad, when they corn at dinner time? Th' lad grinned and said, They never han to call me then, no fear. said th' o'erlooker. How's that, me lad? Said th' lad. I'm allus theer. Me lad, thou looks a lively count, keen as a cross-cut saw. Short yure, sharp teeth, a twinkling ee, and a little hungry maw. But wheer hast ta been watchin' at? What's brought thee down our way? Said th' lad. I watched for Tommy Platt. He gan mi th' bag to-day. Thou's brought thee character, I guess, says th' lad. You're hang, I doubt, says th' o'erlooker to th' lad. How's this? Says th' lad. I'm better bout. Said th' o'erlooker. I never see sich a whelp sin' I were born. But I'll try what I can make o' thee. Come to thee wark to morn. Hey, lads, hey. Oh, I a fidgin' fain to drop me wark when gloaming shades come softly down, and off I went at th' edge o' dark to th' bonniest lass in Ratchter town. I i' such a flutter to tap the gate that I'd hardly time to tee me shoon, for me heart beat wild with love elate, and me tingling feet kept time to th' tune. Sing hey, lads, hey, sing ho, lads, ho, what's to betide us, who can know? On wings of bliss, away I flew, o'er moor and moss and posied lea. I started mony a brid for th' bow, but never a brid as blithe as me. And when I come to th' foaming brook, bonk full o' water, spreading wide, I took a sprint, went o'er like woint, and let a yard at t'other side. Sing hey, lads, hey, sing ho, lads, ho, what's to betide us, who can know? At seat o' th' gable end o' th' cot, I rubbed me hands and marlocked round, and I trimmed me clothes fra yed to foot, for I felt myself a fairy ground. But when I met wi' fickle Kate, who lost no time to let me see that who'd set a cap another gate, and who wanted no more truck wi' me. Sing hey, lads, hey, sing ho, lads, ho, what's to betide us, who can know? I hung about a while, and I come trailing warm bi th' leet o' th' moon, and at every step I hove a sigh, for my heart had sunk into me shoon. And when I getten a mile o' th' gate, I sat me down by th' owd draw-well, and I felt i' such a doleful state that I'd hove a mind to drown mysel'. Sing hey, lads, hey, sing ho, lads, ho, what's to betide us, who can know? What ails yon lad? Me feyther said. There's summat has ta'en him sadly down, for he sits i' th' nook, and he hangs his yed, and I doubt he's lost his gate to th' town. Come, Robin, don't tak thy luck so ill. Keep up thy heart and caper round, for if one love winnot, another will, and there's plenty o' lasses left o' th' ground. Sing hey, lads, hey, sing ho, lads, ho, what's to betide us, who can know? Toothsome advice. Oh, Nanny, thou'rt a out o' gear. Do, pray tha, go peep into th' glass. Thou looks dirty and dowly and queer. Whatever's to do with the lass? Bless you, Mary, if folk nobbut knew the trouble I have wi' yon lad. He's at th' alehouse again with owd crew. It's enough to drive ony mon mad. Eh, me wench, I'm mitch owder than thee, and it grieves me to see thee like this. So pray tha now, hearken to me, and don't go and tak it amiss. Thou once were nice looking and mild, and tidily donned too as well, but now thou'rt quite sluttish and wild, about both the house and thysel'. It's hard to keep things reet with aught that a body can manage to do, but a mon's sure to stray when he's nought but dirt and foul looks to come to. If thou wants to keep Jamie i' th' house, thou mun bait th' trap wi' comfort, me lass. Or there's lots o' nooks, canty and crouse, where he'll creep with his pipe and his glass. Thou mun keep his whoam pleasant and sweet, and everything fit to be seen. Thou mun keep thee hearth cheerful and breet. Thou mun keep thee cell tidy and clean. A good-tempered wife will entice to a fireside that's cosy and trim. Men liken to see the wives nice, and I'm sure it's so wi' your Jim. Thou must have his meals cooked to his mind, at the reet time and decently laid. Tak pains, and thou'll very soon find how nice a plain dish can be made. Good cooking keeps liking alive, with a woman that's noan short o' wit, and there's never a creator i'th hive but's fond of a toothsome tit-bit. Eh, Mary, I'm nowt of a cook, but just rough and ready, you known. As for roasting and boiling bi th' book, I'm more little more use than a stone. Don't thee bothit an' I thought wi' me. I'll soon put the right if thou'll come, an' I'll larn ther some cookin', thou'll see, that'll help to keep Jamie at whoam. Cock Robin, air, with Wellington we'll go. Cock Robin come a dacent folk, he was the village pride, the tightest, sweetest, soundest lad that stepped the moorland side. Fra top to toe he stood 6 feet, his voice was loud and clear, but he could whisper low and sweet when a bonny lass was near. Cock Robin had a witching tongue, it made folk laugh and cry, and he won the hearts of owd and young, with love leet in his eye. And as he wandered through the fields, he made the valley ring, and th' country lasses pricked their ears to hear young Robin sing. Young Robin was the blithest cout that frolicked on the green, the king of the lads i'th fowd, the darling of the scene. With happy heart in nature's lap, he wandered wild and free, though many a sweet lass set a cap to catch his twinkling ee. But there was one dear lass that bore from all the world the bell, and touched his heart for evermore with love's delightful spell. With modest charms, unknown to guile, she made her conquests sweet, and brought the roving minstrel down to warble at her feet. Now Robin feels the mystic power of true love here below, and Robin owns the richest dower that angels can bestow. He flits no more from bough to bough, his soarings wild have ceased, his songs are all for Mally now, and th' little brids dith neist. End of Part 8. Part 9 of Poems and Songs in the Lancashire Dialect by Edwin WAUGH. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Owd Roddle. Owd Roddle were tattered and torn, with a blate and gowly ee. He a womble and slap and unshorn, a flaysome cout to see. Houseless, without a friend, the poor owd wandering slave crawled on to his journey's end, wi' one of his feet i'th grave. Poor Owd Roddle. Owd Roddle were fond of ale, fra tap to tap went he, and this were his endless tale. Who'll ston a gill for me? He crept into drinking shops at dawning o' morning late. He lived upon barmy slops and slept in a tub at Neet. Poor Owd Roddle. As Roddle one morning tide were trailing his limbs to town, a twinkle i'th slutch he spied. Egad, it's a silver crown. Now, Roddle, go buy a shirt and a pair of shoon. A fig for your shoon and shirt, me throttle's as dry as a hoon. Poor Owd Roddle. Come, bring us a Whittlefield quart, I gonna to buy the tot. Today I've a chance to start wi' a foaming full-grown pot. This crown has a jovial look, I'm flayed it'll melt too fast, but I'll live like a king i'th nook as long as me crown'll last. Poor Owd Roddle. But he met with a friendly touch that ended his mortal woes, for he fell in a fatal clutch that turned up his weary toes. Though they missed him i'th nooks o'th town where penniless topers meet, nobody knew how he'd broken down, nor where he'd crept out a seat. Poor Owd Roddle. In a churchyard corner lone, under a nameless mound, with a friendless poor athrone, Roddle lies, sleeping sound, and the kind moon shines at night on the weary wanderer's bed, and the sun and rain keep bright his grassy quilt o'erhead. Poor Owd Roddle. My Gronfeyther Willie. My Gronfeyther Willie were born o'th moorside, in a cosy owd house, where he lived till he died. He was strong-limbed and hearty, and manly and kind, and as blithe as a lark, for he'd nought on his mind. Derry down. His wife were th' best cratur that ever were made, and they'd 3 bonny lasses as ever broke braid, and 5 strapping lads, they look grand in a row, for they'n 6 feet apiece, that makes 10 yards in all. Derry down. My Gronfeyther's house were a cosy owd shop, and as sweet as a posy from bottom to top. Parlour, loom-house and dairy, bedrooms, great and small, and a shining owd kitchen, the best nook of all. Derry down. He'd cows in a pasture and sheep off moorside, and a nice bit of garden with owd feller's pride. With his looms and his cattle he'd plenty o' wark, for his lasses and lasses, fra dayleet to dark. Derry down. A grey-headed layrock, a threescore-and-12, he'd weave and he'd warble, he'd root and he'd delve, fra daybreak to sunset, then creep to his nook, at the sweet ingleside, for a tot and a smook. Derry down. And fra th' big end of Pendle to Robin Hood's bed, fra Skiddaw to Tandle's owd grove tufted yed, fra th' two lads to Tooters, there's never a pot that's sin as much glee as me grandfeyther's tot. Derry down. Fra Swarthmore i furnace, where th' dew upo' th' fells keeps twinkle to th' tinkle of Ulverston bells. Fra Black Coombe to Black Snedge, no cup mon could fill, did more good and less harm than my grandfeyther's Jill. Derry down. As I journey through life, may this fortin be mine, to be upreet and downreet for a youth to decline, and walk like a mon through whatever betide, like me grandfeyther Willie that lived off moorside. Derry down. Come to your porritch. One bumper at parting. Come, lads, and sit down to your porritch. I hope it'll help you to thrive, for nobody can live as they should do, bout summat to keep 'em alive. We're snug with a dacent thatch o'er us, while round us the winter winds blow. Be thankful for what there's afore us, there's some that ha' nothing at all. Then come and sit down to your porritch. I hope it'll help you to thrive, for nobody can live as they should do, bout something to keep 'em alive. Sometimes I've a pain in me stomach that's common to folk that are poor, but I've mostly a mouthful o' summat that suits me complaint to a yure. Come beef, suet dumplin', a lobscouse, come ale, a cowd waiter I'll sing, and a lump o' good cheese and a jannock, it makes me as proud as a king. Then come and sit down to your porritch, I hope it'll help you to thrive, for nobody can live as they should do, bout summat to keep 'em alive. There's mony poor craters are dainty, and wanton they're proven made fine, but if it be good and there's plenty, I'm never so tickle wi' mine. It's aitin' that keeps a man waggin', and hunger that butters his bread, and when a lad snighs at his baggin', it's time for to send him to bed. Then come and sit down to your porritch, I hope it'll help you to thrive, for nobody can live as they should do, bout summat to keep 'em alive. Some folk are both greedy and lither, then guttle but watch noan at all, and their life's just a comfortless swither, be powlet and pound to and fro. Then watch away, lads, till you're weary, it helps to keep everything reet. You'll find the day run very cheery, and sleep like a peg-top at Neet. Then come and sit down to your porritch, I hope it'll help you to thrive, for nobody can live as they should do, bout summat to keep 'em alive. Jone, owd brid. Jone, owd brid, bring in some ale, I'm fain to see the wick and wheel. We make this court ring like a bell with jolly-hearted sound, lads. We just come lilting, full o' glee, from th' moorland tops so wild and free. Come clear this floor and let 'em see us dance a Cheshire round, lads. There's Jonathan can sing a song that's 24 verses long, and twittering Ben caps owd and young for merry country cracks, mon. There's Thistle Jack, there's Limber Joe, he'll rustle out i'th town and fore. Come Cut and Longtail, he licks o'er, and lays 'em on their backs, mon. There's Ned with pipes and Curly Bill, and Tum and Nels fra Wardle Hill, and Moorland Dan for th' Blue Pot's Rill, and Fither-footed Dick, mon. Thou may wander far and pick and choose where Rindles run and heather grews. Thou'll find no blither couts than those for here to Windle Nick, mon. We're brown as hazelnuts with sun, for th' harvest's o'er and th' hay's weel won, and every heart runs o'er wi' fun, and every lad's in prime, mon. There een a wick wi' merry leet, we'n trip it round wi' nimble feet, wi' reet good will we'n blithely greet, this bonny summer time, mon. Then bring a foaming tankard in, and weet your whistles and begin. This roof shall ring with jovial din. It's holiday to-day, lads. God bless Owd England's hearts of oak, her toiling swarms and sturdy folk. May they never yield to tyrant's yoke. I will both sing and pray, lads. End of Poems and Songs in the Lancashire Dialect by Edwin WAUGH. Read by Phil Benson.